Welcome to my office. So if you're new here or you didn't know, I recently moved from Sydney to Florida, and it has been so much fun over the last couple of months setting up my own space and being able to kind of create a whole new environment again, but having a little bit more separation between my work and personal life, especially doing social media where I feel like I am constantly on and like never really properly take a break from it is really, really important to me. First thing you may notice is something that I had very similarly in my last room is some artwork on the wall. Now, I really want to make this like a Star Wars gallery wall or just a gallery wall in general. However, I currently have only put these two pictures up. Both of these I bought from Disney and I really loved these. However, they don't necessarily fit in the frames perfectly. The Max Rebo one fit a lot better, but this Padme one, it's like a really thick foam board that I couldn't actually put the back of the frame back on. I was debating putting a couple of little acrylic shelves here for Funko Pops and things like that, but I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with the rest of it. I just really liked having some artwork on the wall just to give it a little bit more personality, especially when I'm filming a video and there was just this like blank wall in the background and like some half empty shelves. But speaking of those half empty shelves, that is by far my favorite aspect of this room. Setting up these shelves was my first priority after landing in the country. And that mostly was because I needed some sort of video background, but two, now that I had kind of reset a space, I was finally able to do my dream of setting up the IKEA Billy bookcases with lights in them. Most importantly though, I wanted to be able to control them on my phone. That's better. In my last setup, I only had one of these bookcases and I had the black version, which I've said this before, I regretted getting that. I feel like a lot of my black sets just blended in a little too much and I couldn't see them properly. I got the exact same doors that I had beforehand. However, when I was installing the shelves this time, I drilled holes in the back of them and like threaded up cables right to the top of the bookcases so that I could put lights inside. Previously, I only did some like cheap LED lights that I just like stuck all around the bookcase and it worked, but I just never turned them on because I always had to plug them in to like a USB power bank. It just was not a great system. I wanted to be able to control them with my phone because I had Philips Hue and like color changing like Wi-Fi bulbs in all of my other lights in that room, which is why I was able to create a lot of fun colors in my old videos. So this time around, I wanted to be able to do that, but just like have my shelves light up. I also know that it is a very basic choice when it comes to Lego designs or just bookshelves in general. I don't care. I swear by these things and I will recommend them to the day I die. Now, when setting this up, I tried to kind of divide everything by different themes or categories and have it somewhat be cohesive. I don't know if that comes across when you look at it. So one of the first things I did was put Gringotts in my display. I have been dying to put this on display for a very long time. I used to have all of Diagon Alley, but for me in this room, I really wanted to have Gringotts be the centerpiece and then kind of continue Diagon Alley along this like top section here. Then as we come down, I've got my Clone Wars and my Rebels shelves. Now, since a lot of my Rebels stuff isn't necessarily set based, I wanted to put it on this one in the middle because this is the only one that doesn't have the door and it's gonna get dusty. I need to dust these pretty regularly. I figured this is the best place for it. However, that means I can't put my ghost on there when I finally bring that over, so that kind of stinks. The Clone Wars one, on the other hand, is kind of more of an Ahsoka shrine. When you really look at it. Some recent additions is actually this Captain Rex Black series that I got when they re-released it, which I love. Moving down a little bit more, we're kind of continuing the Harry Potter theme with my Mina Lima collection of illustrated pop-up books. I haven't actually opened these and looked at the pop-ups or the illustrations besides the time that I've gone in stores, but the covers of these are gorgeous. I'm so disappointed that they're not continuing the series. Underneath, you'll find the nanoscale Hogwarts castle, which I've currently got a Light My Bricks kit in. It looks pretty when it's lit up, especially because it doesn't have the door. It just kind of gives it a little bit more life. Coming across this way is my prequel shelf, which is mostly just a Padme Amidala shrine. Are we surprised? Not really. There's a small little break in between my Star Wars shelves where I've got Bag End and all of my little Lord of the Rings minifigures in a small display. Now, this next shelf is the only other one in this display that is like properly planned out, and that is my original trilogy shelf. And I say that kind of loosely because there is one item in this shelf that doesn't match. But this shelf is definitely still a work in progress. I'm sure I'm gonna fill it up slowly over the next year as literally everything else on this one has been added recently. Sitting in front of that, I've put my Darth Vader's lightsaber, which is the latest addition to my small but mighty lightsaber collection. Unfortunately, I had to leave most of them in Sydney, so currently this is like one of very few that I've actually got on hand right now. This one in particular is from Sabers, and they've made most of the lightsabers that I've got in my collection, and also have very kindly sponsored today's video. As we know, I'm a very big fan of Anakin Skywalker, so I figured it was only fair to also get Vader's lightsaber, and this thing is really, really beefy. I charged it up yesterday, actually. I should power this on. Hey, yo. I feel like I'm gonna hit something way more in this room than I did at my parents' house. Currently on my display, it just sits on the little display stand that it came with, and I am very, very glad that this was my next one. It's been one that I've been meaning to get for a while, so I'm very glad to have it in my collection. And if you want one for yourself, they've actually given me one to do a giveaway with, which is really, really exciting. So if you're a fan of Anakin, Vader, or just like lightsabers in general and would like to enter, let me know what your favorite lightsaber duel is from the entirety of Star Wars. It doesn't necessarily have to be live action either. It can be from one of the animated ones, and you have until the 30th of November at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to enter. Then I'll select a winner using a random name generator and reply to your comment letting you know you've won. So thank you, Sabers, for sponsoring this video, and now we'll move on to our final shelf, which is kind of just like a little bit of a dumping ground at the moment. It's currently storing my Wicked Emerald City set, and then I've got some of like the Disney park sets, including the Tron bikes, which is the version I modified actually for my recent Disney video, and then I have the ITS transport set, which is from the Rise of the Resistance ride. In this middle one, I kind of have my little like Star Wars setup going with a couple of my Star Wars Funko Pops, my Kyber crystals, my Galaxy's Edge saber, which is on a special display stand that I got at Star Wars Celebration, and that's also why you'll find my little Star Wars Celebration commemorative figure behind it. But below that is where I'm currently keeping all of my like books and my book collection, because at least for now, there's not that many, so they fit quite nicely down here. It's also where I keep this rare and exclusive Padme Amidala Funko Pop that I bought off eBay, and I definitely overpaid for her. No one should spend more than $20 US on a Funko Pop. And then finally is the rest of my books, as well as this like custom minifigure stand. So I got this very kindly from someone when I was at Disney Springs on one of the recent LEGO release days, and it just has a bunch of like little sig figs of me from some of the cosplays that I've done in various videos or photos. I love it so much. In this top left corner, I have my little Barbie collection and a selection of my custom Barbie figures, some of which I made, some of which I bought from Firestar Toys, and then just like the little Downtown Diner car because it looks like the Corvette. Speaking of Barbie's Corvette though, I recently bought this one from Mega Constructs after I got an Instagram ad for it. I haven't built it yet, but this is going to go on this shelf kind of like here-ish, if it will fit. I don't know if it will fit yet. I haven't measured it. This next one is another dumping shelf. I've just put another one of the Wicked sets I'm using for my video, as well as the only piece of the Nightmare Before Christmas set that I think I'm gonna keep up all year. And then in the back corner, currently, I've got my custom Taylor Swift minifigure and brickheads, as well as my custom Sabrina minifigure and brickheads. I've got a lot of the like tour merch, but I was gonna make shadow boxes out of them. I haven't done that either. There's a lot of things in progress, if you couldn't tell. So really we should be talking about a shelf that isn't quite in progress, which is this Disney one. I managed to pack my Wicked brick like tiered acrylic stand in my luggage somehow, so I've used that to store majority of my Disney minifigures. Next to it though is a popcorn bucket that I got from Hollywood Studios. This lights up. The Disney section continues on with Snow White's Cottage and the Disney 100 set, and then below that is a shelf that is a very recent addition and still in progress since it's half empty, but it's my little Lego McLaren setup. I've talked about this before on streams and on Instagram, but my grandpa used to work for McLaren and the Formula One team back in like its heyday in like the late 80s, early 90s. Like he was still working there when I was born, and when I was like 1 or something, I got to go inside the McLaren offices and actually sit inside a Formula One car. And there's photos of that and it is really awesome. But my mum told me like when the MP4 McLaren came out, she was like, wait a second, that's like the car that he used to like work on, or at least that was around during his era of working for the company. We both got one, and then she went and dug through photos and actually found a photo of my grandpa in front of this car, and he's standing next to Arton Senna, which is just incredible. He was a very special person in my life, and I'm going to print out that photo and kind of put it behind here and make like a full setup, and that is why this corner is just so special to me. I wish my grandpa could see this and just see what I'm doing now, but yeah, this means a lot to me. Now, could I have put up more shelves instead of having like a guest bed, day bed situation? Absolutely. However, I moved overseas and I want to be able to host people when they come and visit me. It's very practical in that way, and shelves would not do that. And let's face it, it's going to take me years to bring all of my stuff over here via suitcases. That's what I'm doing. That's how I'm moving my stuff. I'm just filling suitcases and bringing them bit by bit. So the shelves would be sitting empty anyways. I would love to have more space to build, but this bed, it feels way more cozy. It's way more practical for me too. It's so comfortable, and I can also use it to decorate for the season. So for Halloween, I had orange cushions, and now it's Christmas. I've got these red velvet ones, which I absolutely love, and my little gingerbread jelly cat that I got recently. Oh, he's so cute. In this corner, I have my little music corner. Now, again, you know, I could have a shelf here, but I recently got into vinyls. I love having physical media, and the fact that that is dying out has suddenly made me panic, and I'm like, I now need to own my things physically. So I've started collecting vinyls, and I've also bought a couple of CDs. I have a small collection growing that actually sit in this unit that it's sitting on, but I love my little vinyl player. My parents got it for me for my birthday, and I've had such fun collecting it. One of the coolest looking vinyls in my collection though is this Katy Perry like Teenage Dream Special Edition. I funnily enough had to order this from like Universal Music Australia. It got so damaged in denting and shipping, and then I reached out to them and they'd sold out, but like at the end of the day, I'm just glad I've got it because it looks like candy and it's really fun. On the wall, I recently added these little acrylic shelves, mostly so that I had somewhere where I could put like my currently playing vinyl. But for the moment, I've got some of my like 7-inch ones, which is just Sabrina Carpenter ones. And then on this end one, I actually have my signed insert that I got. I was very lucky and fast enough to be able to snag one of these signed short and sweet vinyls. So I got this little insert, I've put it in a frame. I don't know whether to add this to the gallery wall though, or like put it here. So I've just rested it on the shelf for now. That's a temporary solution. This is where the magic happens. What magic that is, I don't know. I'll leave that up for you to decide. However, I feel like a desk is the most important part of anything you really call an office. And this is also something that I feel like I have really been so efficient in, and that is just by getting a standing desk. So every time I film a video now in front of my shelves, I unplug my standing desk and I quite literally drag it across the floor until I kind of like place it properly and then move all of my lights. It's really hard to navigate the room, and I kind of put off filming things because I have to move everything, but it's very, very handy in that regard. I haven't got a walking pad, so I'm not really taking full advantage of the standing effects yet, but I really like it. I was also planning on cleaning up this desk a little bit, but I thought that was a bit inauthentic, so I've just left everything on it that I'm currently working on. I've got my iPad, which sometimes I'll watch videos on in the background while I'm editing. I have my current drink, which is water. But this little setup is really fun. It's where I edit, where I answer emails, where I sit down and do streams. Not that I've been very good at streaming recently. Sorry to everyone who likes my streams, I've been slack. And then what's actually really fun is this desk chair. This is not an efficient way to show you this, but this chair actually has a footrest, which is quite fun. It can extend out. Stop judging my ankle socks. And then lastly is this little IKEA Kallax shelf. Now, some of you might remember what I used to call breakup corner, which is where I put the 2 sets that I got after like my breakups. Don't worry, this is not breakup corner, but it's like sentimental in like the same way that breakup corner was. And I got this and built this to celebrate moving to Florida. I feel like this was like the best choice. I mean, how could I not? This castle is literally what exists at Walt Disney World when I go to Magic Kingdom. So it's very sentimental for me for that reason, in a much better way. Heading on down though, I've repurposed a couple of the old things that I used to have in some of my other units, including my minifigure display stand, which is where I store majority of my Star Wars minifigures. I only brought select ones over, like I tried to pick all of my favorites out at first, and then eventually I'll bring them all over, but these are some of my absolute favorite ones. And on the other side, I have a selection of my little die-cast like Cars characters from the original Cars wave in 2011, and I thought it just went really nicely with my little Ariel's castle. She's my favorite Disney princess, and then just because I had space, I threw my brick badge there. That's it. There's not really anything else on this one, but that is my entire office space. I am really, really proud of this room. I know that it's not like super special or like tons of color, like a lot of it is just basic IKEA furniture. I only just moved out of home. Furniture's expensive. you know, it will take time. But ultimately, like, that is all stuff that is like really, really irrelevant. The fact that I was able to move out of home and move countries in general and be able to now have a space that is like separate for me to actually like work in, that is just like specifically designed to be an office and a space where I can work and sit down and then have like some separation in my life. That is like the biggest thing for me. I love having that. I am so grateful that I've got that, and I think it's been really beneficial and really important to me. And thank you again to Ensavers for sponsoring this video and for also helping me decorate my room. Be sure to enter the giveaway in the comments below if you are interested in winning Vader's lightsaber. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed my office, and until next time, I'll see you later.